Welcome back to Summer Days 12 through 14 of the Stardew Valley Min-Max and 100% Perfection Guide. Last time we expanded our field to hold 960 starfruit seeds, which we will be able to harvest on day 19, and then replant that day to have another harvest of 960 starfruit on day 27. While we wait for our starfruit to grow, we will be continuing our Skull Cavern dives and receiving something very nice that will help us out with those. We'll also be crafting some lightning rods for a stormy day and taking advantage of the increased forageables on the beach. Let's go ahead and get started with day 12. Looks like we have a mildly perturbed luck today, but more importantly, a lightning storm will be occurring tomorrow. This is huge because we only have received one battery pack from the last one, and this time we need to make sure we craft a bunch of more lightning rods. The battery packs will be pretty useful for, of course, iridium sprinklers, and they're just used in a lot of other miscellaneous things, especially the crystallariums. Those will be useful. So we are going to go ahead and harvest some crops, replant the crops with some melon seeds and just some mixed seeds that we do have. Go ahead and finish organizing our inventory. We will craft a new chest because we are getting a whole larger selection of crops, so we will need some expanded inventory space. We're going to go ahead and place our scarecrows that we did not get to place yesterday, and we're actually going to head over to the beach to do a bit of foraging, and today is actually going to be a special kind of foraging. We have arrived at the beach, and you'll notice the water has turned into a strange greenish blue color. The water does this from summer 12 to 14, and with this event comes extra beach forageables. The standard forageable spawn rate is slightly increased, but more noticeably, the coral and sea urchins, which are normally exclusive to the tide pool section on the east side of the beach, can be found across the whole beach and have a much higher spawn rate than normal. Our goal is to find a rainbow shell, actually, as we will need this for a Mr. Key quest down the road, and rainbow shells are exclusive to the month of summer. It doesn't look like we find one today, but hopefully we will be able to find one in future days. After making a quick stop back at the farm to organize our inventory, we head to the mines, where our main goal is going to be to farm lots of iron, quartz, and bat wings, so we can craft some lightning rods for our farm. Of course, before that, we have to make a quick stop at the mushroom floor. Consider checking out my Mousy Pounds Predictor video if you are interested in how to use the Predictor. I use the Predictor to know exactly where the mushroom floor is going to be in the mines every day. When 2 p.m. hits, the Adventurers Guild opens, and if you remember, we had completed our tasks to slay serpents, which means we can pick up our Napalm ring. This ring will cause a small explosion every time an enemy is slain, which is very useful, as you can slay enemies near rocks, and they will blow up the rocks. Let's head back to the mines and take a look at the ring in action. You'll see here, I just slay the dust sprites, and there's a small explosion that blows up the rocks for me. Right here, same thing with the bat. Let's head up here and take a better look with all these enemies. Now the explosion seems to be about the size of a cherry bomb explosion, which is a bit small, but it's still very nice as long as you're able to nicely line up the enemies with all the rocks you want to mine. This will be especially useful when we go back to Skull Cavern, and especially with the serpents, because the serpents just fly straight at you really fast, so you basically just slay them wherever you are by rocks or whatever, and they'll just blow up a nice chunk of rocks for you, and it's basically just free bombs, so it's a very nice ring, one of the best rings in the game. Anyways, we have arrived back at the farm in between mining, since we do want to have some iron smelting, so that when we get back, we can craft some more lightning rods. We only have one on the farm now, which isn't going to get us a whole lot of battery packs, so they do cost 1 iron bar, 1 refined quartz, and 5 bat wings, so we're going to head back to the mines and continue farming these materials. And after that, we will head back way later in the day. You can see our iron and quartz are ready. We're going to go ahead and get some more smelting, and we're going to go ahead and grab all the materials we will need. So we're gonna grab our iron bars, our refined quartz, and our bat wings. And go ahead and craft as many lightning rods as we can. We have ran out of refined quartz. We were only able to craft 9. But we will go ahead and place these down on the farm. We don't need them too close to our chests or house since lightning storms are not too often in summer. We will spend the rest of our time in the day continuing to farm some iron and stuff in the mines, and then we will pass out and we'll be moving on to the next day. We are now on day 13. Today's a stormy day, so we'll get some battery packs finally, and we'll be spending pretty much the whole day in Skull Cavern. Before we do that, of course, we have to organize our inventory a bit. We're going to need to harvest any crops that have grown on our farm. And of course, we have to always be smelting, so let's go ahead and get some copper ore smelting, just because we will be back at the farm in a quick second. We're going to head down to the beach because, if you remember, we have the special foraging event. I don't actually know what it's called. I think it might be mentioned on the Living Off the Land TV show that you can see in game. But yeah, I really don't know what this event is called, so if anybody knows, please let me know. But after grabbing the extra forageables on the beach, we head back, organize our inventory, and I don't end up smelting anything else. Oh well, but today is actually Alex's birthday, so we will just show up at his house, go ahead and give him a tomato. No, we don't want to eat the tomato. No, we don't want to enter his room. Yes, there we go. We give him the gift, and with that, we can head over to Skull Cavern. So let's go ahead and just warp right in front of Alex. I wonder what he thinks of us, but that's okay. We're at Skull Cavern, and let's get started. So yesterday, we did receive the Napalm ring, so we will go ahead and try that out. Right here, I forget to equip it, but then I remember, and so an okay strategy to use for this is to try to get the enemy's health down a bit, and right before you think they're gonna die, then slay them, because there's no point in wearing the ring while you're dealing damage. You'd rather be wearing like a iridium band or some sort of ring that increases your attack, and then slay them. This is kind of gimmicky and hard to pull off, so I don't always suggest it, but I will be trying some of this. I will be trying to switch back and forth between my rings, which does get kind of repetitive, but it does help quite a bit. And especially when we get like the luck ring and eventually are able to combine rings, I'll often try to have like iridium bands or something on, or like the luck rings while I am not slaying an enemy, and then right before I slay an enemy, I want to equip the burglar's ring and the napalm ring so that they have better drops and they explode. Now, the ring, of course, is no substitute for bombing, so we still have to use bombs quite generously, but it is nice when you just need to blow up like a small cluster of rocks, like right here. Just otherwise, if I didn't have the napalm ring, I wouldn't have blown up those 2 rocks, so it's just extra. It helps, and it's just very nice. Now, when you send mummies to the ground like that, they won't explode from the napalm ring. I believe if you kill them, eventually if you get the Crusader enchantment on the sword, they will explode. I haven't really tested that out, but I'm assuming so. And blowing them up with a bomb like that, I'm not sure if they actually explode or not, but either way, it doesn't matter, because when you blow them up with a bomb, you're already blowing things up. So if the bomb reaches the mummies, the radius you get from the napalm ring wouldn't help anyway. So either way, the ring isn't too useful on mummies. However, if there are other enemies around near the mummies, you can slay the different kind of enemy, and when they cause an explosion from the napalm ring, that blast will actually kill the mummies, so it's useful in that regard. But anyway, we're just moving along in Skull Cavern, not having the best luck today, but we are going to get a purple fog here, so let's see if we can actually utilize this to our advantage. and slay the serpents to take out some rocks. So I do switch to the napalm ring. Let's go ahead and see how many of the serpents we can take out, and if we can line them up with some rocks. Not too bad. We do get a red cabbage seed. That's a fun drop. We will gather the coal from the cart, of course. We always need more coal. And let's see if we can slay this one last serpent. They do take a little bit of time to slay since they just get knocked back an insane amount. Moving along, we do find a prismatic shard, so that's always nice. We continue going down, and on this floor, I think I'll show an example of using the napalm ring. It'll actually blow up dirt, so you can see right here, the dirt on the ground actually got blown up, so I don't know how useful that'll be. We did get a cave carrot out of it, so sure, that's cool. But that's just another fact, I guess. Not too useful, but it exists. And we've actually found ourselves a dark cowboy hat, which we already have one of those, so I guess we have a backup in case we lose ours for any reason. Just kidding, our inventory is full, so we're just going to go ahead and throw that out. And with that, we have made it to the final floor, we will. Not the best day in Skull Cavern, but it was fun to try out the napalm ring. And with that, we're on to the next day. Day 14. We'll be spending another day at Skull Cavern, but first, we do have to take care of some chores. Of course, it's Sunday, so we do have to check the Queen of Sauce recipe, but we will be tidying up our inventory. We'll be planting some just starfruit seeds where our wheat has grown, collecting our batteries since it was a stormy day yesterday, and we will head over to the beach again because today is the 14th. It's the last day of the increased forageables on the beach, so let's go ahead and collect what we can here. And then it might be a bit overkill, but we will use another warp totem to get back to the farm. It saves us a good amount of time, so, why not? We have a few warp totems to use. We will then be heading over to Robin's to build a silo. But first, we are met with a cutscene, and it is Maru's 2-heart cutscene. So we did get a few hearts with Maru, since we gave her a love gift for her birthday, so we got a good amount of friendship points. So this cutscene, a little bit strange. Maru, for some reason, needs to leave the house. No idea what she's doing outside, maybe grabbing some samples or something. And even stranger, Demetrius begins to talk to us, and it seems like he is gonna imply that we might get in the way of Maru's future. Now, I wouldn't agree with this because we are probably the richest person in Pelican Town at this point, so if anything, we can just buy Maru a bunch of lab equipment or whatever she needs to do her work. But anyway, we will be greeted with an option, and so once Maru asks about what Demetrius was talking about, we can either agree with him and say nothing, or we could actually say that he was being weird. Of course, I have to agree with him because I don't want to make Demetrius mad. If we choose the second option, we'll actually lose 100 friendship points with Demetrius. And the first one, we actually gain 10 points, so we will always be choosing the options that will gain us friendship points with the NPCs. While I am here, we will give Demetrius the pike he requested, and then we do need 100 gold for the silo, and I could claim a quest reward for it, but I'll go ahead and just sell some of the miscellaneous things I have, like the hardwood and some clay. So I probably had the hardwood originally to give to Robin, but that's fine. We sold the stuff. We can construct the silo now. We're going to go ahead and put it somewhere out of the way on our farm. Since we don't actually ever have to interact with the building, we can just put it out of the way, never touch it again, and it'll just store hay for us. Real quick, we are going to look through some of Robin's items. I'm going to probably pick out a few paths, crafting recipes for the paths. So we do have some quest reward money to claim, so I'll go ahead and do that so we can buy a few little path recipes just to decorate the farm when we get a chance. Probably won't get too much of a chance until a bit later in the run, but that's okay. We're gonna warp to the desert and head over to the trader, pick up some spicy eel, some warp totem deserts, can't ever have enough of those, and of course staircases. Today is staircase Sunday, so we can trade our jade for staircases. Always worth it. Probably won't use too many today, but on a super luck day or something, we definitely will utilize those. We're gonna go ahead and get started off on floor 1, and let's see what we get. We get a staircase and looks like a hole right away. I will be skipping over many floors as usual, since today isn't the most exciting Skull Cavern dive, but right there we did get 3 holes, and of course extra holes don't matter, we just need 1. And I do get very low on health here, so I eat the purple mushroom I just found, and we have a pretty nice gold chunk here, so we'll go ahead and try to blow up some mummies and the gold at the same time, get a ton of loot from that, and we'll head to the staircase. And this floor, we're down on floor 83 now, so I fast forwarded quite a bit, and there is a good amount of iridium. I will try to line up slaying enemies over rocks so that I can get the explosion from the napalm ring, but right here I'm going to replace it with the glowstone ring, since we aren't slaying any enemies. And here's an example of, we want to pick up some items, so the increased radius from that ring is helpful. Right there, before I start slaying these enemies, I should have equipped the napalm ring, but I do now, and now that I have the napalm ring back, I can slay the enemies and get the explosion from them. So right here, I equipped back to that, because when I'm not slaying enemies, I don't really need the napalm ring on. We're now on to floor 86, which will end up being the last floor. It's quite a bit late. We did get a good amount of iridium, a rabbit's foot, 2 prismatic shards, and some other nice items, so it was a pretty decent run. Not the luckiest, but that's okay. And with that, we have reached the end of this video. We've managed to craft some lightning rods, forage the beach during the summer increased forageable event, and pick up our napalm ring, which has greatly increased our mining ability in Skull Cavern. Next time, we will have some more Skull Cavern dives and take care of some other tasks, like upgrading our axe and barn, and completing some community center bundles. Then, on the 19th, our harvest of 960 starfruit will be ready, so if you are looking forward to that, please consider subscribing and liking the video. I would really appreciate that. And of course, please comment with what you liked, or with any questions or suggestions you have, and thanks again, and goodbye.